What's going on? Will Freeman, RevolutionaryLifestyles.com, talking to you if you're a poker player, how to make more money. This is coming from one of my good friends, was one of the top online players 2015, 2016, and having coached poker players for the last couple of years, I have had two poker playing clients. You know that what I do is life coaching, and a lot of what I do is help guys make more money. And in the course of my coaching over the last year, I've worked closely with two poker players. I also played poker myself back in my mid-20s. Once I couldn't make any more money in trading, I was a prop trader and equities trader. Did a couple of articles on that over at RevolutionaryLifestyles.com. I moved into playing poker, and I let my godfather, I was making like $2 or $3 grand a month. My godfather talked me out of it. Said it wasn't a real job and you didn't know if you were playing against bots. And this was like 12 or 13 years ago. Huge mistake. You know, I was sitting on a lot of cash from trading. I wasn't able to make any more money as a trader. And I really missed the boat on all those good juicy years of poker. Okay, and that's one thing that poker players will tell me. It's not as good as it used to be. The fish aren't like what they used to be. There's a lot more sharks. Poker's not as hot as it used to be because, you know, it was a really big thing maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago when everyone was watching these tournaments on TV. It's not as hot as it used to be. And there's just a lot less action. And the software is so good, it's sort of leveled the playing field a lot. You know, I had one client who used to do the algorithms by hand. You know, he would read the mathematics books on poker. Now everybody has an algorithm. So it's sort of leveled the playing field a bit, and the money perhaps isn't what it used to be, but it's still six figures. The top guys online are still making 500 grand or whatever it is. There's still a lot of money to be made in poker, and it's still a lot more fun than working a job or entrepreneurship. The first couple of years of entrepreneurship is terrible if you're a poker player. Okay, I know it's stressful. I know that you've got your own stresses and trials and tribulations, and losing your own money sucks. I've done both. It's a lot more fun to play a fucking video game than it is to be an entrepreneur. Don't confuse the two, okay? You're not a entrepreneur, but you're also not in that entrepreneur category. You're a poker player, and just because you might not be getting the money you used to, it still means you should definitely be going at it, okay? If you're making above $100 an hour, be going at it, treat it like your full-time job, show it the respect that it's deserved, save that money, okay? Yes, the games are getting tighter. Yes, you know, you might not be able to get six figures 5 years from now, but don't even worry about that. Just be looking at like the next couple of years on how to get after it, how to get your money, and really taking it seriously. So I've got 15 tips for you from both my experience and from the success that I've got working with clients. You know, I've taken clients from, you know, making 5 to 10 grand a month to making 30 to 40 grand a month. Okay, and this is where I would start. I would start with number one: plug up your life leaks. Okay, if you're going through a bad breakup, if you've got roommates who are fucking up your routine, if you've got depression, anxiety, if you're eating poorly, if you're not sleeping well, okay, we got to get control over those. That's the number one thing. And almost none of that's covered on these poker sites. You know, I was talking with a client about getting him into poker coaching, and we were looking around at the coaching, and it's all like, it's either YouTube gossip or like advanced technical stuff, okay, that you really don't need when you've got these other issues going on. Okay, if you're overweight, that's costing you money because you're not going to have the energy to be focused enough, you know, competing with someone who does. And which brings me to point number two, which is eat, train, and sleep like an athlete. Be up at 6 o'clock every morning. Do your workouts. Eat healthy. Train your body and your mind as if you were a pro athlete. I would say the same thing to anybody who's, you know, a salesman. I lived in the world of cutthroat corporate sales. You know, you're only as good as your last deal. You have to think like a shark to survive. And I would treat and train my body like I was an athlete because I know that I'm not going to be in there forever. You know that you're not going to be in there forever. in poker, maybe, 5, 6 years from now, you'll be able to earn a cruisy 5 or 6 grand a month doing 3 hours of work a day. But right now we got to focus you on, if you're able to make 6 figures, or if you're making like 60 grand, getting you up to 6 figures, and just, eating, training, sleeping, like a pro athlete would, okay? Like a guy who plays in the NFL making 300-400 grand a year. He's not a superstar. He knows he's only got 4 or 5 years, so he's going to train the hell out of his body to make sure that he can get that money, because he knows that that's going to be securing his financial future, okay? And you want to be able to come out of poker, well, God willing, you get 10 years out of it, okay? But if you only get 3 or 4, you want to be coming out of this with, 100, 200, 300, 400 grand saved, okay? I'm not even getting you to worry about investing or anything like that. I would just stack that cash and prepare it for putting it into a high margin service business. Ton of information on my site on that, revolutionarylifestyledesign.com/money. And when you do that, okay, you're not going to have to worry about cold calling or pitching people on the street. I've got a client right now pitching people on the street for personal training. Okay, it's because he doesn't have the money for marketing. When you have 100, 200, 300 grand in the bank, now you can do any service business because you can afford to be top 1% of spending, right? You can afford to drop 10 grand a month on, advertising yourself as a real estate salesman, or insurance, or selling marketing, or selling sales training. You won't have to, you can pay to advertise your YouTube channel, right? You're not going to have to crawl your way from the bottom. You're going to be able to go into any business with a huge head start, and having the most important skill, which is the ability to deploy capital. So you need to eat, train, and sleep like an athlete in preparation for that, okay? Number 3, understand your cycles and manage your expectations. Let's say you're playing good poker, and you're going into hands where you've got 60 to 70% chance to win, and you're only playing against fish. You're not playing against sharks at all, okay? You still have to understand that when you're playing thousands of hands a week, those 30% chance of losses are going to come to you, and it'll be like one day where you just eat dick for 4 hours. Fish are going to suck out. They're going to do dumb shit, and they're going to catch it on the river, and it's going to happen like 3-4 hours in a row. You're just going to hit that run of bad luck, and the key is to understand and manage that, and just be like, of course this is happening, right? I'm not getting upset over a lucky break. I play enough hands, I'm going to lose enough hands, and there will be periods where I'm losing 3-4 hours in a row, okay? And I'm not results oriented, I'm process oriented, okay? As long as it's within the bounds of my system, this is supposed to happen. I'm not surprised, and I'm not going to go on tilt, and I'm not going to let my emotions cost me money. So anger, frustration, a lot of these times, a lot of the time come from unmanaged expectations. Like you're driving down the freeway, all of a sudden there's all this traffic, there's a parade or whatever, there's something going on, you're like, fuck, because you didn't expect it, okay? Had you expected that in advance, you're not going to be thrilled to be sitting on the freeway, but you're going to know what's up, okay? So you're not going to be thrilled that every 7 days, you have to eat dick for 4 hours and let a fish run a train on you and get some bad luck again and again and again, but it's going to happen, and you're not going to let it put you on tilt, okay? Actually, I'm going to add another point right here to my Evernote. Only play against garbage players. Number 4, if possible. Okay, I've got one client in Canada where it's not possible for him to play against straight fish, but he's playing against guys that he's better than. I've got a client of mine in America who we set up a poker system for him where he's basically a cheetah, and he's just hunting gazelles that fall behind the pack. Okay, he was losing a lot of money playing against through ego, because he was trying to play against other sharks thinking that he was better than them. I said, dude, even if you're better than them, it doesn't matter. Like, we could literally fill up your whole week with fish, because there was where he is, the location where he is, which I'm not going to tell you, there was enough fish for him to have 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 hours of work, of playing time a week without having to play anybody good, okay? And it was just an absolute no-brainer, taking ego out of the equation, okay? Actually, I'm getting more ideas here. I'm putting that right in as number 5. Take ego out of the equation, okay? Take ego out of the equation, meaning number 5, take ego out of the equation. Stop trying to be like the best poker player in the world. Stop even trying to be a good poker player, okay? Fuck that shit. Literally, your job is just to extract money out of an ATM, okay? Focus on the kind of money you want to make. Focus only on the money. Take your ego out of it entirely, right? And think of yourself as an entrepreneur whose job it is to maximize revenue from your clients. Okay, your clients are the fish, and you're doing it without ego whatsoever. You're not browbeating a guy and insulting him so that he won't come, so that he's pissed off and will never come play with you again, right? You're not trying to play against sharks. You're not trying to play in games where you lose money because you think that you should be able to play in those games. You're not trying to play above your bankroll because your ego's trying to get you into a fight with a bigger dog to prove something. You're literally just extracting money from this thing. You're thinking of it like in terms of an entrepreneur, work output, being available to sell, meaning like sales is like you just being at the table, being polite to people if you have to keep them coming back to you. Not losing your temper at people because you might piss off a fish who doesn't want to play with you anymore. And not trying to be a good poker player, not trying to be a top level poker player, just focusing purely on income. I want to make 6 figures this year. I want to make 150. I want to make 200, right? And you've just taken ego out of the equation entirely. Number 6, don't play above your bankroll. You can't afford the variance, especially on stuff like Omaha. This was a major problem for a client of mine because he couldn't afford the downswings. He's a great player, but it doesn't matter how good you are, you're going to hit some bad luck. You're going to hit a bad month. And, when you're pulling a lot of money out of your accounts and you're playing above your bankroll, that's enough to wipe you out. So as long as you're playing good poker and you're focusing on the odds and you're doing all the things on this list, as long as there's poker money to be made, okay, you're gonna be able to make that money. Now, the vast majority of people I would tell not to play poker. I'm only talking to people who are already making money at poker. Okay, if you're a guy watching this thinking about should I play poker, the answer is fuck no. Leave that to guys who are already good. Okay, I would tell you to start a service business. It's not for everyone, just like how I would tell you not to be a trader. Even though I made money both at poker and trading, I know that 99% of people are going to lose money, and I'd rather you not be in a hustle and build a business. Okay, this is for people who are already proven to be profitable, okay, and who are looking to grind out the next 4 or 5 years. Don't play above your bankroll, because as long as you're playing good poker, as long as you're grinding properly, as long as you're doing all the things on this list, you're going to make money, okay? You are going to make money. The only thing we need to worry about is you not getting wiped out, okay? Is you not being able to take losses more than you can afford. Is you not being able to take more variance that you can afford, because then it's fucking game over and you've got to go get a job, okay? It's just allowing you to be able to continue to play the game, because you will make money as long as you follow the system and play good poker. Number 7, triple down on winning games. If Heads Up Omaha is your thing, that's all you should be playing, if possible. If you can get more than 20 hours a week out of that, that's all you should be playing. Okay, this is a major problem. A lot of guys, they take the money that they make in the good game and go spend it on a game that they lose at. I would see this all the time as a trader. Guys would make money on Texas Instruments and go blow it on fucking Citigroup or Exxon. Exxon was the big one. because Exxon was always popping. There was always news coming off on Exxon. And it's like having a good girlfriend who helps you financially and then going to spend that money on some hoes who treat you terrible. Okay? Triple down on winning games. I would say this applies to life in general. Like tripling down on your strengths and getting rid of and spending no time on stuff that you're weak at. Okay? It's no coincidence I don't have a math website or a math blog. I'm terrible at math. I don't do it at all. The only thing I do is fucking math to count out my money in percentages. That's all I care about. Okay? Brings us to number 8, get rid of losing games. If you're getting smoked at Omaha, dude, that's not the move for you. And, you know, now's not the time to learn a new game, most likely. Most likely it's not. Now's the time to get better at your current game, get better at what you're already winning with, staying in your fucking lane, staying in your wheelhouse, and tripling, quadrupling, 10xing down on that, okay? Like, don't even think about playing another game until you've maxed out every available hour for your good games, right? If you can get 40, 50, 60 hours of heads up hold'em and that's your jam, that's all you should be doing, okay? And the rest of the time just studying and getting better at that, okay? Number 9, let this be your mantra and just write it everywhere. I won't let my feelings cost me money. Okay, tilt, when you think about it logically, doesn't make any sense, and it's not an excuse to say like, well, you know, everybody goes on tilt sometimes. Okay, a lot of people do, even pros, even the best guys in the world, but it's still not an excuse. Just think about it. You know, I'm upset, I'm pissed off, but you can't get revenge on a loss on someone else. Okay, you got smoked yesterday by a fish who sucked out on you. Now you're playing a different fish today. You can't get revenge from this guy, okay? And even if you're playing the fish from yesterday, revenge is the absolute worst emotion you should be feeling when you're trying to play poker, okay? You want to be a cold, calculating machine. You want to have, you know, process-oriented entirely. So every time you're getting upset or whatever, just tell yourself, like, I'm not going to let my emotions cost me 10K today. I'm feeling a certain type of way. That's irrelevant to what I'm actually going to do, okay? Because I'm not focused on this game, and I'm not in short-term thinking. I'm in long-term thinking. I will not let my feelings cost me money, right? Think about how much your feelings cost you last year. Could very well have been 30, 40, 50, 100 grand, right? When you go through and debrief all this stuff, you just can't let your feelings cost you money. I'm adding another point right here. Be process-oriented instead of results-oriented. I'm going to put these in the YouTube description for you, as well as the notes on my site too. Process-oriented just means like having a system and following it, not being happy because you made 30 grand this month, even though you broke your system. You know, I had a client of mine and I said, when we do our weekly coaching calls, I don't want you coming to me bragging about what you made this week. I want you coming to me bragging about you followed your system. I want you coming to me bragging about you took losses for 3 hours straight, and you kept playing good poker, and you didn't go on tilt. You know, I'd rather hear a losing week that you followed your system, and were process oriented than results oriented. Okay, the beautiful thing about poker is it's a closed system. It's not like trading where it's open. There's always the right move, and the more software you have, the more ability it gives you to take a second to take a deep breath and find what that right move is. Okay, sometimes the right move is bluffing, but you know, if you're bluffing too much on fish and trying to force the action, you know, you're making the wrong move, and you're results oriented. You're trying to focus on, hey, I want to get $1,000 from this guy this hour, instead of I am a fucking robot machine and I just follow my system dogmatically. Okay, Um, I mean, the scope of life, okay? The successful people in life are long-term thinkers. The unsuccessful people are short-term thinkers. Low IQ equals short-term thinking, right? Every fucking low IQ behavior, reckless driving, fighting, breaking the law, you know, unprotected sex in coming inside, all that shit is fucking short-term thinking, okay? Every dumb idea is almost always short-term thinking. So burn that out of your brain. Long-term thinking over short-term thinking. Okay, doesn't matter how. Oh, there's this juicy game popping off. Oh, and it looks like there's a couple fish over there in Omaha. No, I don't play fucking Omaha. It's out of my system. I'm gonna let all those juicy games fall to the wayside. Just like how I don't fuck around with Bitcoin, man. I'm like, guys are telling me, just hold $1,000 in case it goes up to, no, dude, not my fucking lane. I don't know where anything's going. I don't trade anything, okay? My trading days are over. I was only able to make money because I had a lot of buying power and there were arbitrage opportunities that are not even close to available anymore, okay? I stay in my fucking lane. I don't gamble with $1, okay? All I think about is the long term. There's $1 million a year in this business right now, in my business, okay? So if I'm going to put money into something, it's going to be put into this. Because I'm thinking long term, man. I'm going to be doing this till I'm fucking 61, like Grant Cardone. I've got 20, I'm 37. Whatever the fuck the math that this is. You see why I don't make a living off math. I've got from 37 to 61 to be as big as Grant Cardone. Or at least, I don't know. I don't even need that much money. But, that's where I'm going. I started this business at 30. I'm 37 now. With the idea of I'm going to do this forever. I wrote articles for 3 years without even monetizing. I didn't even release my product until 3 years of being in business. All I was doing was building a following and getting my ideas out there because I knew I was going to do this for the rest of my life. I don't do anything unless it's on a fucking long timeline, and neither should you. It's like 4% of poker players make money. Okay, 3% of them make bullshit money. 1% of them earns a good living. Pretty similar to my business, pretty similar to acting, pretty similar to being an athlete. The vast majority of people are losers in that space, okay? Every single one of those guys who's a loser is a short-term thinker. He's not studying, he's not debriefing, he doesn't have a system, he's not saving his money, and that's why he's losing. Just gonna bring me to my next point. Save your money. Don't worry about it. Investing it. Okay? My green's juice here. It's disgusting. First of all, investing is really only, there's really only a point to investing when you're already rich. Okay? Investing makes wealthy people wealthier. If you have 10 grand or 30 grand in your bankroll because you've been pissing money away, the 8% a year you get on an index fund is worthless, dude. We need to save enough money for you to have, firstly, just worry about your bankroll. Getting that up to 100 grand or 200 grand or 300 grand, wherever it needs to be for you to be psychologically comfortable, to have a large margin of safety, to not, be all messed up if you're down 20 grand a month and have to worry about how you're going to pay bills. You want to keep a lot of that money in your bankroll so that you're psychologically comfortable and you feel good about being able to play the games that you're playing. Okay, money is the lifeblood of poker. Don't worry about inflation too much or trying to get your 8% or whatever. And it's like, if you were putting your money into anything, it should be going into a business. Okay, but you don't have the time or the inclination right now to be able to go in full time on a business. So just put your money in the bank, put it in your bankroll, or put it in some bonds or some GICs getting 3% or whatever, and don't fucking worry about it. Okay, because you're literally getting like 5,000, 10,000% returns on your poker income. There's nothing else that will compare. There's no better fucking return on your investment for your time right now. Just keep a bunch of money in your poker accounts, put the rest into savings, pay your fucking bills, maybe buy some bonds or whatever. Don't worry about it, okay? But save that money. Don't spend it. Every trader I worked with spent money like a retard. I actually didn't. And it's just a huge mistake. Save your money. Don't spend it. But also, don't worry about investing it. Okay? Investing, it's like, okay, let's say you got the MJ DeMarco money tree for bonds or whatever, right? And you're finding corporate bonds paying you 4 or 5%, and you've taken a chunk of your savings, you've taken $1 million, put it into those. Now you're getting, let's say we're being generous, I don't know, 5% a year in this money tray, in like, you know, monthly dividends, if you've staggered it, if you've built that bond ladder or whatever. And so now you're making $5,000 a month just off the interest, okay? And you're able to live on that. Like I said, you have to save $1 million first. That's the part you need to worry about. Okay, when you have $100 or, you know, $50,000, 5% is nothing, man. Okay, it's nothing. You can get after it. You can get after some passive income or passive investments like that, or some little bonds that are going to give you 3%. But don't think that like you need to focus all your time, or you need to like really study that like hey, what do I do with it? How do I invest all it? It's okay to have money in cash, and it's okay to have money in investments like that. Okay. What you don't want to do is you don't want to throw it all into a business with one of your poker buddies. Okay, poker players by nature are fucking disreputable motherfuckers. You know, with the exclusion of my friend and my clients, there's a lot of guys in poker that are going to fuck you over. You don't want to push that money into a business that someone else manages. You don't want to go and start your own business because it's going to be a full-time job. You know, it's okay to just let that cash stack, man. And I would say that to a lot of high-income guys. What a lot of guys who start making a lot of money do, athletes, rappers, football players, they piss that away on bad deals, you know, because they think that they're winning in one area, that's going to transfer over to another area, and that's just not the case. Okay, you can bench press 300 pounds, but if you never fucking squatted or done a leg press, that upper body strength is not going to carry over into the other area. So don't become a sucker for yourself. Don't think just because you're smart and you're making a lot of money that it's going to transfer over to somewhere else. There's a long learning curve on entrepreneurship. If you want to take a decade off of that, you know, go check out my videos on money and entrepreneurship. But other than that, just fucking save your money. And that's what's up. You hear me? Number 13, do 1 hour of study a day. If you're not studying, if you're not trying to get better, you're just fucking stupid and lazy. I mean, when I was trading, I used to close down the internet cafe. Okay, that's how we didn't have it. I was 20, I was living at home. We didn't really have internet. I went to the fucking internet cafe till midnight. I'd go to the library and study traders, and I would go to the internet cafe till midnight studying chart patterns. Didn't do a whole lot for me. I was never able to develop that system, okay? Because the trading system doesn't fucking exist, right? You have arbitrage opportunities that might be good for 6 months or whatever, but an actual long-term trading system doesn't exist. Otherwise, you know, instead of being billionaires, guys like Ray Dalio would be multi-trillionaires, because they would just literally make a consistent fucking 30-40% every year on a trading system. But that didn't fail. Poker's a closed system, dude, right? It's a closed system. The more you study, the better your system's going to get, the more money you're going to make with certainty, okay? You know, you'll go from, you know, making money 40% of the time to 50 to 60 to 70 to 80 to whatever the maximum amount is, right? When you do that study, you should fucking study the best courses, the best. You're getting paid to play a fucking video game, and it's a closed system. There is an optimal way to play. It's like chess, right? You know, the computer can beat the best chess players in the world because there's an optimal systemic way to do that. It's the same thing in poker. I mean, studying can only make you more money. You should have whatever the best programs are. You should be linked up with those best networks, you know, the best forums, pay for the best premium content. Don't try and do too many things at once, but do an hour a day of studying on getting better. It's an absolute no-brainer. Number 14, do a 1 hour gameplay audit every day. This is actually more important than studying, okay? Because all the money's gonna come from your mistakes, right? If you're making 100 grand and you're trying to get to 150, that extra 50 grand right now is being lost in mistakes, right? All you have to do is just find 2 or 3 patterns that you're making, mistakes that you're making, to be able to take that income level up, because you're gonna stop losing money. You know, you'll go from winning 60% of the time to 70% of the time, whatever it is, just by doing that. So think that, you know, all your money is in the mistakes. All your money's in the mistakes. And when you're doing an audit properly, it should be painful for you. You should be going through and be like, oh, I'm such an idiot. Why did I do that? Right? The stuff that you actually want to avoid and just put it behind you is actually what you should be waking up and doing and going through and seeing what are the patterns. Why did I lose money there? Or did I play properly? Okay, I lost 2 grand, but I did the exact same thing. And I would do it again with the same information. So that's the measuring stick. Would I do it again if I had the same information? Okay. All your money's in the fucking mistakes. And that's more important than the study. And you've got the software you have can chop it and screw it and do everything to it. You know, it's fucking, you know, it's like if you focus on this stuff, you're basically in an MMA fight against the guy who's in there with bare knuckles, and you've got armor and a fucking sword, like, you know, a bionic arm, right? The software, you know, can make you a fucking cyborg, okay? And the fact that most people don't do this stuff just gives you such a massive advantage by actually doing that gameplay audit every day. You know, I know you think that you're as good as you can be or whatever, you get the game maxed out. You don't. You can always get better. You're always doing dumb shit every day. You do it and then you lie to yourself and you're in denial about the fact that you were on tilt for 20 minutes. Okay? You know, this has to be an hour by hour thing to where, like, you can see, okay, I was on tilt there. What happened? Right? Why did I fuck that up? All your money's in the mistakes. This might be the most profitable thing that you can do. And that'll take you from 150 to 250 or whatever. Because the reason you're not making 200 is mistakes, right? You're profitable, but you're not as profitable as you could be because you're making mistakes. And the audit will teach you that. For example, we found that, you know, a client of mine, one of his big things was bluffing fish who were tight, right? Like the fish is pushing in hard, he's got a marginal hand, and he'll bluff the guy, you know, because he thinks he can. When in reality, it's like the only reason that fish has no balls. He's tight as hell, so he's only going in when he's got something really good, and that's where you should fold, right? So we're focusing on with him on folding decent hands, like being able to fold like a half decent hand or a good hand when there's money in the pot, because you know that fish is so tight, the fact that he's in there means he has something better than me. Instead of calling him or trying to put him out of the pot and then you know, being pissed off that, like, oh man, I lost with this hand, like I should have won that, instead of, like, you know that guy's going in there. Also, if the fish is fast and loose, you know, folding a lot with this guy because he's an idiot, and all you have to do is just sit there and wait for a half decent hand, and you're going to be able to take him out. So those were a few patterns that we figured out. we also figured out, hey, look, we got to stop playing Omaha, right? You're making all this money in Hold'em. Let's get rid of Omaha and losing on Omaha. Okay. Which brings me to the next point, which is number 15, increase your output. This is the most profitable thing that you can do right here. Okay. If your hourly rate is $100, most profitable thing you can do is work more hours. Okay. Yeah, it's great to study and get that rate up to 120, 130, 140, 150, 200, 300, 400. Okay. But the most profitable thing is to go from 10 hours of that to 20 to 30 to 40. Let's say heads up Hold'em is your game. All right, that's your most profitable game. And you're playing a bunch of shit and you're only playing 10 hours on that. Figure out how to get 20 hours on that. Figure out how to get 30 hours on that. Figure out how to get 40 hours on that. How do I making more money per hour is great, but $100 an hour is a lot of dough, right? It's not lawyer money, but it's still a lot of money. You might not think that because you're so used to getting loose with money, but it's a lot of money. Most profitable thing you can do is being like, how do I get that to 50, 60, 70 hours a week, right? Or $200. How do I work more hours? Game changer. Number 16, get your money now. Every poker player I've talked with is saying the money is less and the competition stronger. So now's the time to grind. Now's the time to be playing 70, 80 hours a week. Now's the time to be playing, be online 8 to 10 hours a day, getting that money. Especially if you're a young guy. What else are you going to do, man? Chase girls? That's what I did. It cost me a fortune. Don't do that. Okay? Grind the next 3-4 years. It's 2019. This video might be irrelevant in 2024 because there's no money left in it. Or maybe there will be. But either way, if you're younger than 35, just fucking grind. You can come out of this thing with 200, 300, 400 grand, right? That could pay for a house, or that could be your financial security, as well as, a big old war chest for your service business. When you're done poker, you've got money to pay for the marketing. You'll never have to cold call like I did. You'll never have to pitch people on the street. You'll have this massive advantage against every other business owner. Okay, so now's the time. Get your money, go hard at it, and be grateful for it, dude. There's guys in prison, there's guys in war zones. You get to play a video game. I know you think your job is hard, but entrepreneurship is fucking harder, and it's way less fun. Okay, poker can definitely be more stressful in certain types of ways, but it's a lot more enjoyable. I don't have to force myself to play poker or play online chess or whatever. There's a lot of fucking boring shit in entrepreneurship that you have to force yourself to do. So get your money now. Don't complain. Be grateful for the fact that you can make 6 figures playing a video game, that you're able to do this, that you don't have to work a fucking job, that you can work from home in your boxers. I'm wearing boxer shorts right now, by the way. I'm grateful for that. Okay? Be grateful. I'm still putting in the time, okay? For all the time that I wasted in my 20s, I'm paying that back to the game, and I'm getting rewarded for it, man. So don't be a sucker for yourself. Don't complain. Go hard. Which brings us to number 17. Allow for no distractions and disruptions of your routine. Don't have girls staying over while you're playing over her shoulder. Don't have friends over while you're playing. Don't be playing in the taxi. Don't be playing, in the airport. Try not to travel, okay? We're talking about the next 3 or 4 years. You're just a fucking money extraction machine. You're just taking money out of this ATM and you're just fucking pressing that code all day, okay? Don't fucking vacation. Don't do shit that's gonna fuck up your routine. Be on there from 9 till 9 every day, or maybe you got to play at night. Maybe it's noon till midnight, and get after it. Okay, no distractions, no disruptions. That brings me to another point that I got to add. Get your time zone right. Meaning, when's the most profitable time for you to play? That was a huge money maker for one of my clients. Was realizing, hey, we double our income at night. Yeah, you don't want to be up all night, but if midnight till 7 is the best time for you to play, that's when you're on. And a lot of the time it is, especially Friday or Saturday night, because you've got guys who are coming on there drunk or on drugs, right? And you're just sitting there waiting for them, dead sober. That's a huge one, the most profitable time to play. And having that be your fucking routine, right? So you're not having girls over at night. You're having them over in the afternoons on Saturday, Sunday, okay? You're not going out at night. Too much money to be made, right? My friend, when he was in Chiang Mai, he just sat in his room for, and played 30 days straight every month, making 40 grand. And he was, asking me, we were talking about business ideas and he was getting burnt out. I was like, just fucking sit there and play, dude. Just do it every day, and it was the right move. He came out of it with a ton of money, and that site was only good for 6 months, and he just pillaged it. Guaranteed now. He knows it's the right move, okay? So you'll never regret the time that you spent making money and saving money. You'll always regret the shit that the dumb stuff that you fucked money off on. Bad investments, loaning money to your poker buddies, blowing it on girls or booze or cocaine or whatever dumb shit that you're doing. You'll always regret that. So don't do that. Number 19, it's getting longer because I keep adding things. Put effort into finding international skill arbitrage opportunities. What that means is are there sites in Asia that are loose right now that you can get access to with a fixer? Yeah, they have that stuff. Are you playing in the wrong state? Maybe you're playing in Nevada, okay? Nevada has the toughest games in America, and you need to move somewhere else where it's looser, Are you playing in the wrong country, right? Where's the best place for you to play? And is it worth it for you to get over there? Could you double or triple your income? A lot of guys the last couple of years have been in Asia, and they're just getting fixers and going on to these Chinese sites and pillaging them for the 6 months that the site's good, and finding creative ways to get the money out of there. Maybe that's not the move for you, but maybe it is. Or maybe you're a tournament guy and you should start playing more live tournaments. Maybe that's where the money's going. You should start going to Europe and start playing more live tournaments. Maybe that's what's up. Which brings me to my next point: get your taxes right. So maybe you go to Europe and start playing there, and you're like break even. You're making the same you would make, in Australia as an Australian, but your base is in Asia or whatever, right? So you're able to claim non-residence status from Australia, and you're no longer liable for Australian income. However, the country you're in, like the Philippines, is territorial taxation. Maybe not the Philippines, because I think gambling's illegal there. But some type of setup, right, where you're in a territorial taxation country, you're not liable to the tax man back in your home country, and you're good to go. I've also heard from poker players that you can play in the Netherlands tax-free. I'm not 100% sure on that. There's some discussion in there, or there's ways in Canada, that to be able to not be taxed or minimize that income. Get your taxes right, man. Super important. Before you think about investing or anything else, minimize those taxes, dude. Number 21, focus only on poker. Your best ROI is playing more poker, or studying more poker, or auditing your poker, okay? Not trying to build a side business. Worry about building a business when you can't get any more poker money. The only time you build a business on the side is when you have to, like you've got a job and you've got to get out of there, and it's a nightmare. And it's really hard to do cold calling and stuff like that when you have a job. It just sucks. I mean, you're just 14 hours a day, but hey, that's what you got to do when you don't have money. So your job right now is making money and stacking money. You'll worry about that when you can't get any more poker money, okay? But you'll be sitting on 300 grand. So don't even worry about that right now. Don't worry about investing. Just focus on poker and studying and auditing and saving money and eating well, sleeping well, following your routine, getting as many hours as you can in there. Number 22, get a coach. The best athletes in the world have coaches. You need to start thinking about yourself as like, an athlete. Basically, you're like an athlete or a cutthroat corporate salesman or a rapper or a musician or somebody who's got like a finite window to make a lot of money, to make 3 or 4 or 5 times what the average person makes, and you need to get it while it's hot. And I think you need a coach. I know that I've significantly improved the lives of both my poker playing clients, and one of those clients, I tripled his income, and it was basically from doing this stuff here. So, if you want to get at me for some coaching, obviously I'm not going to be able to do the advanced technical stuff, but I know that of these 22 things on this list, you're fucking something up. I would bet money on it. I would take that the EV is right on that gamble. So if you need help with that, revolutionarylifestyledesign.com/coaching. If you've got all this stuff locked in, okay, which I don't think you do, but if you do, I still think you should have a coach for that advanced stuff. If you spend a couple grand on that guy, is he going to be able to increase your income 10, 20, 30%? Like I said, you're probably, you always need to be looking at getting better. What have you not done? Like, what could you do that you haven't done yet? Like, if you haven't got a coach yet, I mean, that's a major thing to do right there for the technical stuff. If you want a coach around this stuff, holler at your boy. If you don't, I just hope you found this useful. Pass it on to your poker player buddies. And that's it. So check me out, revolutionarylifestyledesign.com. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube, subscribe, get that notification. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm also using my new webcam for the first time. Quality's not as great, but it is what it is. So I appreciate you listening to this message. Much love to you.